First at 5, Madison police identify the officer seriously injured when the squad car he was in was hit head-on by a tow truck.
And an update from Washington on the possibility of a government shutdown as a Wednesday deadline draws near.
Plus, we get an update on the death toll and the suspect involved in an attack on a Mormon church over the weekend north of Detroit.
Thanks for staying with us for News 3 Now at 5. As we mentioned, Madison police have identified the officer who was seriously injured in a crash with a tow truck that police say was being driven erratically.
Officer Ryan Kimberly and K9 Freddie were in their squad car when they were hit head-on by a tow truck Saturday afternoon. Monona police say they arrested a 36-year-old Madison tow truck driver on charges of felony eluding reckless driving, resisting an officer, and multiple other traffic violations. Police also say this is not the first time that tow truck driver has been in a crash with a squad car.
They're seeing the same people time and time again, and I think there'll be a lot of reflection that will need to go on within our justice community here in Dane County to see, should something differently have been done? Should this case have been handled, this individual been handled differently? At this time, I think it's too early, but certainly I think that will be examined.
Capitol Canines reported that K9 Freddie was wearing a vest, which helped protect him from more serious injuries. Officer Kimberly is currently a serving member of the Wisconsin Air National Guard 115th Fighter Wing. The group's Capitol Canine and 30 by 30 fundraising have established a fund for Officer Kimberly and his family. You can find the link for that story on our website, channel3000.com.
Police say that a man who was the victim of a violent, unprovoked attack near Camp Randall Stadium has died. They've also identified the victim as 62-year-old Mark Tigular of Fitchburg. UW-Madison police say they believe the attack on September 20th was targeted. Officers say the suspect, Keith Jones, pictured here, was the victim's co-worker and was off the clock but still in uniform during that attack. Police say they were told of the victim's death Thursday, and UW police are now referring charges of first-degree intentional homicide to the Dane County District Attorney's Office.
A 33-year-old man has been arrested after allegedly making threats to blow up the Wisconsin state capitol. Madison police say the man called 911 around 7:20 last Monday night, threatening to damage the capitol. Officers responded to University Avenue and Breeze Terrace, where they found him. The man has been tentatively charged with making terrorist threats and a probation violation.
Police are searching for the man on your screen here after he allegedly inappropriately touched a woman in an elevator in downtown Madison. It happened on University Avenue near the Kohler Art Library. This was back on September 9th. The caller said she was in the elevator with the man when he tried to engage in small talk before touching her inappropriately as she left. Now, if you have any information about the incident or know the man in the picture here, you're asked to call the Madison Police Department. The number there on your screen, 608-255-2345. Now, if you'd like to remain anonymous, you can call the Madison Area Crime Stoppers.
Well, we are just a couple of days away from October, and there is no sign of fall in sight. Alex Harrington is here with how long this heat will last. Alex?
Yeah, I'm looking underneath the desk here to see if I can find fall anywhere, and I don't see it. What I see are near record high temperatures by the end of the week. As we head towards Friday, we're going for a high of 86, the previous record, 85, set back from 2005, and it is a toasty one out there at 5 o'clock at night. We got 85 in Madison, 84 in Watertown. Still 88 degrees, near 90 degrees at the end of September in Janesville, upper 80s in the Dells, and we got the 86s in Boscobel and in Lone Rock. So if you're going to be out and about this evening for that walk or maybe that jog, you might need some of that extra water to stay hydrated. 85 again at the airport, 85 in Deerfield, and then 87 down the highway in Middleton and in Verona. All 80s right now. As we plan our evening temperatures dipping down into the 70s once we get past sunset. And when we get to closer to the 10 o'clock newscast, 67. And then looking further out into the future, there's that big 86 on Friday and then a crash in the temperatures next week. What's involved with that crash? Some rain. We'll talk more about that when I come back in a few minutes.
All right, Alex, thank you. President Trump met with Republican and Democratic congressional leaders at the White House today.
It's part of a last-ditch effort to avert a looming government shutdown. Our Nash Dara is here with more. Nash?
Thank you, Eric and Susan. Without a funding bill in place, the government is set to shut down at 12:01 a.m. on Wednesday. The GOP is aiming for a clean resolution bill, while the Democrats, they want the continuation of Affordable Care Act credits, which are set to expire at the end of 2025. Earlier today, I spoke with Democratic Congressman Mark Pocan about the potential shutdown.
Republicans are in charge of the House, Senate, and White House. They should have came to us at some point to actually work through this. They didn't. They wrote their own bill, and now, clearly we're trying to protect people's health care, and we're fighting for that. But, it's not like it's a complicated equation. The Republicans just, can't be trusted, and unfortunately didn't do anything right in this process.
Pocan emphasized the negative impact that no resolution would have on federal workers in the U.S., but specifically his district of 5,500 to 6,000 people. Tammy Baldwin will be holding an online press conference tomorrow morning about the shutdown. We have yet to hear from a Republican representative.
All right, Nash, thank you. Police in Grand Blanc, Michigan say everyone has now been accounted for after that deadly attack at a Mormon church yesterday morning. That shooting left 4 victims dead, 8 others injured. The gunman was killed by officers responding to the scene, but not before he set the building on fire. Police identified the deceased suspect as 40-year-old Marine veteran Thomas Jacob Sanford from nearby Burton, Michigan.
As I was running, with how close he was getting to me with his shooting, I was just standing there or running, expecting to get a bullet in the back of my just legs or in my back or something.
Now, police say Sanford rammed a vehicle into the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints Sunday morning, then opened fire on at least 100 worshipers for using an accelerant to set the building on fire. Now, the FBI is calling the attack an act of targeted violence. 3 of the injured patients remain in critically stable condition. Earlier this afternoon, an armed 21-year-old was arrested after driving through a police barricade at the site of the shooting, but police have released few details so far about that incident.
One more candidate now joins the quickly growing field of Democrats and Republicans running for Wisconsin governor. Missy Hughes, the former state economic development director, is running as a Democrat. Prior to the director role, Hughes worked for 17 years at Organic Valley Dairy Cooperative. She says her key points are a push for higher wages, to improve public schools, as well as affordable and accessible child care and housing. Hughes joined 7 other Democrats and 2 Republicans.
In Baraboo, officials with the International Crane Foundation are reporting the first death of an endangered whooping crane due to the highly pathogenic avian influenza or bird flu. The crane named Ducky died earlier this month, confirming the first death from bird flu. Ducky was expected to be released this fall, along with 7 other whooping cranes at the Horicon National Wildlife Refuge. Officials believe the crane may have gotten the virus from a wild bird or the environment. There are just 700 whooping cranes left in the wild.
The Public Service Commission has okayed the Badger Hollow Wind Energy Center in Iowa and Grant counties. It would be the first wind farm approved in our state in over 10 years, according to reporting from Wisconsin Ag Connection. Clean Wisconsin played an active role in the approval process for this, emphasizing the environmental advantages of wind power and trying to dispel some misinformation. The project will generate roughly 118 megawatts, which can power about 30,000 homes.
Tonight is Madison Magazine's Best of Madison Taste Party 2025.
And the theme tonight is prom night at Madison's Edgewater Hotel downtown, and that is where we find our Jalen Banks. He joins us live from the ballroom. Jalen, what can we expect tonight?
Susan and Eric, yes, we're just about an hour away from tonight's event getting going. This event really just highlights the best that Madison has to offer when it comes to food and drinks. And speaking of drinks themselves, I'm joined by Amanda from Timber Hill Winery just outside of Janesville. So Amanda, unlike myself, you're really taking the prom theme seriously here. But just tell us about Timber Hill and what you guys have to offer.
Sure. We're located down in Milton, Wisconsin, and we have almost 50 different wines available. We've got a full food menu with pizzas, lots of good things to offer. We brought some of the best here tonight for the Best of Madison.
And speaking of the Best of Madison, you're going to be joined by so many other food and drink vendors from the area. Just kind of tell me how it feels to be a part of a group of the Best of Madison.
Yeah, we love doing events like this. It's so great to get together with other people in the industry and show off our stuff that we have. And it's fun to try other people's things too. So it's great to be here.
So for those that may be on their way here, what should they look out for at the booth this evening?
Well, we've got sweet, dry, everything. Whether you're a wine drinker or not, you should definitely give it a try. And then we also have a coupon for a free wine tasting so they can make the trip down to Milton and see the full wine list.
All right, well, sounds good. Thank you, Amanda. You guys heard her. If you want to try some of Timber Hill, come get your free coupon here at tonight's event, which, again, starts in just an hour. I'm going to send it back to you guys in studio for now. Reporting live from the Edgewater Hotel's Grand Ballroom, Jalen Banks, News 3 Now.
All right, Jalen, thank you. It is the final week as well for our Coats for Kids campaign. Thanks to everyone who has donated so far to help us keep our neighbors in need warm this winter. We are up to 2,239 donations. Our goal, though, is 5,000. So if you have a gently used coat in your closet that you're no longer using, you can drop it off at any Clinky location. By this Saturday, our friends at Clinky Cleaners will clean that donation and then turn it over to the Boys and Girls Club for distribution. And speaking of that distribution, if you need a winter coat to wear, mark your calendar. It will be Friday, October 24th. To find out the exact location, just head to channel3000.com/coatsforkids.
Well, Alex Harrington returns next with a complete look at our first warn forecast.
And we will detail a tragic ending to a Wisconsin golf vacation for a Canadian tourist after he is shot and killed on the streets of Sheboygan Falls.
And we'll go to Green Bay after last night's tie between the Packers and the Cowboys. Our Packers senior writer Jason Wilde offers a recap from Lambeau Field.
And a check of the markets to start the week. The Dow Jones climbs more than 68 points. The Nasdaq up 107 and change. The S&P gains 17.5. And we'll be right back.
You're watching News 3 Now at 5.
Well, the Pack had a tough game last night, even though they didn't lose.
Yeah, you could hear me still yelling at the TV. News 3 Now senior Packers writer Jason Wilde has some analysis on what went wrong after that early 13-0 lead.
If you get our Packers Daily newsletter, and if you don't, what are you waiting for? Go to channel3000.com and sign up for it. You probably saw the subject line, Packers lose 40-40. Yes, I was trying to be a little clever about the Packers' 40-40 tie with the Dallas Cowboys at AT&T Stadium on Sunday night. But that does capture how it felt to a bunch of the players, including Josh Jacobs, who said exactly that. Now, the Packers are at a loss, trying to figure out how they went from winning 2 games in 5 days against 2 of the best teams in the NFC, the Detroit Lions and the Washington Commanders, to losing a game they should have never lost in Cleveland last Sunday, and then tying and feeling like they lost to the Cowboys last night. They have the bye week to try and figure that out, but unlike the old days of the bye when I was early in my career and Packers coach Mike Sherman, if they lost before the bye, would keep them for a couple of extra practices and shorten their days off, the collective bargaining agreement requires players to have the entire week off. So they came back late last night, bright and early this morning, in the early morning hours, arrived back in Green Bay. They had some meetings, and they're off for the rest of the week. The coaches, on the other hand, have their work cut out for them, figuring out how to get this team back on track. We'll have full coverage of everything Packers, even through the bye week. And don't forget about that newsletter, which delivers our Packers coverage directly to your inbox every single day. In Green Bay, Jason Wilde, channel3000.com.
Fans might be ready for a bye week. They're
right.
exhausted. We're 1 week into fall, but it still feels like summer. Alex is here with when the heat's going to let up a bit. Maybe the next chance of rain, Alex.
Got all of that here in the forecast. First, let's start with the heat. Look at this. Temperatures were in the mid-80s today. We're back up into the upper 80s on Friday, staying in the 80s over the weekend. And then we take a little tumble here. Tuesday and Wednesday back into the 60s. That's normal for this time of year. You can expect when you go from the 80s to the 60s in a short period of time. We might have some weather going on here, meaning rain. Nothing this week, but as we head towards the weekend, those rain chances start to pick up a little bit, but the better chances are going to be very early next week. More on that in just a moment here. All part of the 3 things you need to know. Warm all week and weekend. Friday's highs could be very close, if not breaking records, and that rain chance building in next weekend. Let's look at the record high temperature back from 2005, 85 in Madison. We're going for a high conservatively of 86 degrees. If it's breezy and dry enough, we could be even a couple of degrees warmer than that. Speaking of warm, these low temperatures tonight in the mid to upper 50s. Look above my head here. The average low is 46, so we're 10 degrees above normal for the low temperatures. And so when you're starting off warm, you got a warm base. And that just means it's going to be a warm day on Tuesday. Average high 68 degrees. We'll do 82 in Madison, 84 in Janesville, 85 in Monroe, Platteville, Lone Rock, Prairie du Chien. Trying to see if I can find another 85 out there. It's warm all across southern Wisconsin on Tuesday, and it's going to stick around. I'm actually sweating a bit in this suit just doing this forecast. Speaking of 85, it's 85 in Madison, 88 still in Janesville. Just was on the phone with WCLO. We do a live radio, and they're saying, Alex, this is just really, really strange. And it has been a prolonged stretch of warm weather, and that warm weather is going to stick around here all this week here. There's that 78 on Wednesday. That's cool, and that's still 10 degrees above normal. We'll have a few clouds on Wednesday. As we head towards Saturday, if you have any travel plans towards Michigan for the game, they're going to be in the 80s as well. We're going to increase those rain chances with the best chance on Monday with high temperatures around 80 degrees, and then we take the tumble here. 68 on Tuesday and 69 as we head towards Wednesday. Let's plan the evening here. Temperatures 80s right now. We'll slip down into the 70s, so maybe if you're going to do that walk with the dog, Alex has to walk low-key. It's not going to be till 7 or 8 o'clock at night. We want to let those temperatures cool down. And the pavement temperatures, we want those to cool down just a bit as well. But those 68 and 69 early in the next week, that could be short-lived, looking at warmer than normal temperatures building back into southern Wisconsin. But the good news is we could use some drops. We could be a little bit wetter than normal as we head towards the middle of October. So that would be, again, a plus. Kickoff on Saturday, 76 in Michigan, and after we win the game, temperatures will be at 82, dipping down as chilly, and I'm being sarcastic here, as 78 degrees. And that fall color report, if you have other plans, maybe not going to the game on Saturday, hopefully you're watching it, but maybe take a sneak peek up in northeast Wisconsin where some of those colors are looking fall-like, just not feeling fall-like. They'll be in the 70s in northeast Wisconsin.
All right, Alex, thank you. Next at 5, details about a tragic shooting of a Canadian tourist. He was golfing at Whistling Straits. What happened and the information about the man in custody when we come back.
You're watching News 3 Now at 5.
Giovanni Mike Robinson, a 32-year-old Canadian and new father, was fatally shot while walking through downtown Sheboygan Falls.
Earlier that day, he had marked a life milestone, a hole-in-one, while he was golfing at Whistling Straits. His trip home became a tragedy that has shaken both his family and the Sheboygan Falls community. TJ Dysert has the story.
32-year-old Giovanni Robinson, better known as Mike, pictured here at Whistling Straits after his first hole-in-one Tuesday. Hours later, his Wisconsin golf getaway turned deadly.
It's the worst phone call I've ever had, yeah. It brought me to my knees.
The Canadian shot and killed while walking along downtown Sheboygan Falls with his brother-in-law and 2 friends. Robinson welcomed a baby girl just weeks ago, and his entire family was getting ready to celebrate his sister's wedding.
My sister's wedding is going to be now my brother's funeral.
Prosecutors say the man who pulled the trigger is 35-year-old Luis Cruz Burgos, a Sheboygan man now charged with first-degree reckless homicide. According to the criminal complaint, Robinson and his golf group celebrated his hole-in-one at a downtown Sheboygan Falls bar. The complaint says they tried to get an Uber back to their Kohler hotel, but couldn't. Prosecutors say the men started walking, then tried to negotiate a cash ride with a driver, who investigators believe was Cruz Burgos, driving for DoorDash in the area. The complaint says police obtained surveillance that picked up audio of the interaction. One man saying he was not going to, quote, give him $40 for 5 minutes of work. Another man in the group told investigators Cruz Burgos drove off, but then says the SUV doubled back. He told police that's when he heard a pop, and then Robinson say, quote, I'm dying.
His brother-in-law held him in his arms, tried to bring him back.
In an interview with police, Cruz Burgos first told police he saw the men walking, but did not make contact with them. He later admitted speaking to them about a ride, saying the men were calling him stupid and that one of them flipped him off. Prosecutors say Cruz Burgos told police he did not witness anyone shoot a firearm.
Well, the case is now moving through Sheboygan County Circuit Court, where the defendant faces a charge of first-degree reckless homicide. Authorities say surveillance, witness accounts, and the suspect's own statements are part of the evidence.
We'll get a final check on the weather when we come back.
The mystery of dementia in the Rio Grande Valley, where the rate is nearly double the national average. Our Eye on America takes us to southern Texas to investigate.
And the story of a father who wrote his daughter a letter nearly every day, and how it's inspiring people around the world. That's tonight on the CBS Evening News.
And after the evening news, we'll learn more about a Madison police officer and his canine who were injured in a head-on collision with a tow truck, the charges the driver faces, and how you can help the officer. Again, that's tonight, News 3 Now at 6.
And Alex is here with a final check of the weather.
Final check of a summer-like forecast, even though, as we were saying before, we're 1 week into fall.
You cannot drink a pumpkin spice latte right now. It's just impossible. It's too warm.
Yeah, you can't sit outside and enjoy that at nearly 90 degrees. Yeah. And it is still 85 degrees outside right now. Let's look at these lows, though, that we're expecting today. Mid to upper 50s. Normal lows this time of year in the mid 40s. We're going to do 80s again on Tuesday, and upper 70s to low to mid 80s all the way through the upcoming work week. Friday, we may even be shattering a record high in the upper 80s. That record high is 85 degrees, and Saturday, if it doesn't rain, we could be pushing that record high too. That's 87. So warm stuff.
You guys act like it's a bad thing. This is good.
Yeah, we know you love it.
All right, CBS Evening News is coming up next. We're back in 30 minutes for News 3 Now at 6.
You can always find us streaming 24/7 on Channel 3000 Plus. Have a good evening, everybody. See you at 6.